Hello, good morning. I am making this video to help out those people who are having problems with their computer, laptop, or CPU tower. Whenever that they have their, especially for work, whenever that they're using their computer in a certain period of time, your computer slows down or it's just very, very slow in opening programs like Microsoft Excel, Word, PowerPoint, and especially Microsoft Teams that uses a lot of computer power. And even opening multiple tabs, it's very, very slow. Um, so this one will help you guys out, improving your computer's performance, and of course, less stress at work, right? Especially for those who are working from home. Now, this laptop that I have, I'm gonna show you a few things here. This is a 5-year-old laptop, and what I actually did, other than the tips that I'll be saying or sharing to you later on, is that I undervolted my CPU, and I will explain to you later on what that means. But before I start, let me just I just want to let you know that I am not an expert on all of these things. No, I'm not. This is just based on experience, based on a few things that I've read. Um, and please do keep in mind, uh, you don't need to follow this if you're not quite sure. If you don't trust me, that's absolutely fine. Like I've said, I am not an expert about on all of these things, but I do hope that listening to this or watching this will help you out with your computer and improve its performance. And because it did on mine, I have 3 laptops, actually including my wife's laptop, um, and the third one is a backup. And I have run all of these things that I'm talking, well, I will be talking about later on. And it has never had issue, and I never had issues. And my laptop is actually working, you know, faster than it was not before. It was very, very slow when I'm just opening a few tabs, especially when Teams is up, Microsoft Teams. It just takes so long for me to navigate, multitask, and so on and so forth. So one of the few things that I want to talk about is how you can improve your laptop's temperature, because that is what CPU undervolting is really for, is to help you maintain a good temperature in your laptop or computer. Because if you have a very hot computer, and when I say hot, I'm talking about temperatures, like it reaches, as what you can see here on my end, my computer is running at around 54 degrees for the CPU. This one is actually the video card, the 48 one, but the CPU is running at 54. It reached as high as 69 earlier. Um, that is still very acceptable range. You should be worrying about once it reaches 80 to 90 degrees, and I have even seen some reaching up to 100 degrees Celsius. And if your computer runs that hot for a certain period of time, your computer will either, slow down, worst case scenario, crash, and will damage some of your computer parts, from CPU to even the batteries. So this one will help you out. So the first step is to keep your computer's ventilation clear from dust, and it should be clean. So if you have a CPU tower, make sure the ventilations are clean. Never place anything to uh, clog that vents. Like if you have your CPU tower close to um, call this like curtains, please keep them away from it. Don't put it on the ground. And for laptops, same thing. Never clog anything at the back, especially when you look at your laptop. There's vents at the side or at the back or even at the front for some. Avoid clogging those areas because that will cause your computer to run very, very hot, right? So keep it clean, keep it away from any clutter. And for laptops, I will advise to use a laptop stand, to keep it elevated and to have a much better airflow at the back. Um, Although I also place a fan at the back of my laptop. Um, you can actually buy it in Lazada or Shopee, um, that has stands with fans. Although it's not really super influencing in lowering down, or it doesn't really help so much in lowering down your temperature, but it does help still in keeping it cool. So you can definitely do that. Those are some of the steps. And if you are very familiar with your laptop, you know how to open it up, pry that open. You can also add some thermal pads, especially in the SSD or drive side, and replace the thermal paste on your CPU and GPU. Repasting it with a new one, especially if it's an old laptop or computer, will definitely help out so much in terms of temperatures. That is what I did. This is a 5-year-old laptop, and I also upgraded a few things here. But the most important of all, even with the upgrades, it was still running slow until I undervolt my CPU, which drastically helped the performance of my computer right now. And it can even still compete with, you know, newer laptops, right, or newer computers, you know. So, what is undervolting? So let me go ahead and show you this one. So I have some temperature monitoring here, and this is because of this program here, which is throttle stop. Um, so this program will help you undervolt your computer without causing the or affecting performance. So that is what basically undervolting is. So lowering the voltage, power, or output power to that CPU at the same time not sacrificing performance. So you can pause this video, take a look at the settings that I have here, because once you have this installed, you have to make sure you check all of this and uncheck some of those that might have been defaulted to be checked. Um, but first, how do you install it? You can Google search it. As you can see, my laptop is very snappy um, because of this program. Um, so throttle stop download, you need to make sure you're in the website techpowerup.com. And once you have that open, right now the latest version is 9.4, which is the latest stable one. Don't do the beta. Use the stable one. Download this one, and this is on a zip file. So once you have it downloaded in your computer, just go to where it's downloaded. Um, I'll show you an example here. So this is the one, throttle stop. Um, Open that up and extract everything. All right. And when you do extract this one, actually, this is how it looks like. When you do extract this, I would suggest you extract it to your documents. It will give you an option here where to extract, browse to my documents, right? And you create a folder on in my documents, name it throttle stop, and select that folder, and there you go. That is where you need to download it. But it's your preference. You can download it anywhere on your computer as long as you're able to locate it with no problems, right? But I would suggest documents. Once you have that downloaded, of course, you go to that file. Again, mine is here. Troublesome. You can see my computer is very, very snappy. Again, all credit to this one. So click that and double click that to launch the program, and you should have something like this. Again, copy what I have. When you select speed shift, double click on this one and change the value, because usually it's 100 or 110. Place it to 0. All right. Once you have that on 0, the rest, copy whatever I have here. Go to options, and also will mimic or copy what I have also checked. So notification area, CPU, GPU temp, if it's enabled, and all of these things here. Um, by the way, my computer is running on an Intel CPU, so that's why. And I will show you this one, Task Manager. Um, I have an Intel CPU, and ThrottleSub also works with AMD, but I don't know, but I haven't tried it because I don't have an AMD computer or laptop. So this is basically specific for Intel for now. But you can definitely Google and you can find it in YouTube. There's a lot of videos there how you can use ThrottleSub for Ryzen or AMD CPUs. Um, Mine is an old CPU, like I've said. It's an 7th gen CPU, i7. That's around 6 years old CPU when it's released. Um, 6 or 7 years old. Um, right now, the current Intel CPU is 12 gen. We're already in the 12 gen. So, and also Windows 11 supports 8 gen and above. But I was able to install Windows 11 on this one through other things. Um, but that's a different topic. Anyways, as you can see, my speed is sorry, My speed should be around 2.8 gigahertz. Mine is 2.7. I don't have much load right now, but if I'm, opening multiple websites, running Excel, running uh, Microsoft Teams all at the same time, this can even go up to 3 gigahertz. So I'm very, very happy about that. That's the most stable CPU speed that I have. Before throttle stop, before I had this one installed, um, this one's the speed usually whenever it gets very hot, it goes around 1 gigahertz, 1.5, and that's why my laptop slows down and having hard time, you know, multitasking, and that's and even at work. So back to throttle stop. So again, just copy what I have here and hit OK. And once you're done, let's go to undervolting. Now, heads up regarding undervolting, it's a trial and error thing. It's not always going to be the same as what I have here. And I will tell you there are safe values that you can try. But again, different laptop CPUs or different CPUs rather have different uh, values for undervolting, and you just have to play around with it if you're comfortable doing it. So one thing that you need to do first is make sure the CPU core is selected, and then you have to check this one because by default it's unchecked. Unlock adjustable voltage. Once you have that unlocked, go to offset value, and the one that I have right now, 130.9 negative, um, that is the most stable that I can get, and lowering it to or making it to the highest offset value that I can set it to without my computers crashing. Because if I actually increase this for another 5 increment or make it 135 or 140, my computer will become unstable. You know, my computer will crash after 5 minutes. When I place it to 150, it crashes right immediately after saving it. So, and the computer needs to restart. And don't worry about it, because again, once the computer restarts, it should go back to the most safe value, and you can try again. Um, so mine is 130. I will recommend for those who are doing this to do 100 first and then increment it by 10. If 100 is stable, go to 110 and save again the settings. And then if everything's stable, 120. And sometimes I will ask you guys to stop at 120. Don't go further than that unless if you know what you're doing or you know the risk. So after doing that, after changing the values, make sure you select this OK, save voltage immediately. All right. After you select that, apply. And once you're done, remember the value here. So if you have it 120, go to CPU cache this time. Same thing, check, and then change this to 120. Same thing with the CPU core. And once you're done, go to Intel GPU. Same thing, check. Put the same value that you have with the rest of the other, the same with the other two here. And of course, OK, save voltage immediately, apply. And that's it. So your computer is now undervolted, and you should see significant improvement in terms of its, smoothness, its function, its performance, opening multiple tabs, running different browsers, etc. Um, it will definitely help out, and I hope this will help you out. It helped out so much on my end, and I'm just sharing it to you guys, and hopefully it will also give you some significant boost in your devices, especially if you're working. It will lessen the stress that you have whenever that you are working and your computer is very slow. It's very very hard. Um, Again, the monitoring here is also very important. So always keep a watch on this one. If your computer goes way up to 80, 90, be very very careful. Make sure again the things that I mentioned earlier, the tips. Um, Keep the ventilations open or dust free, clog free. Um, put a riser, put a laptop stand if you're using laptops, um, and everything that you can do. I mean, don't put your laptop directly in front of the sunlight by your window. Uh, uh, Very obvious logical stuff, but sometimes you might forget or you neglect doing that. So those kind of things that you can do to keep your laptops cool is very, very important. Okay. So, all right. Thank you so much for listening and have a wonderful day. All right, bye bye.